Welcome back to the Talking Hedge. I'm Josh Kincaid, and this is your Cannabis Business Podcast. Today, we're asking the question, can weed snobs really enjoy pre-roll joints? On the line with us is Dan Chemist with Good CBD Products.
Yeah, I'll bet they can.
So this Yahoo Finance article says that hardcore stoners typically have a strong disdain for pre-rolls. I stopped taking pre-rolls from people and smoking it probably a year, maybe I think it was a year ago when Jim, his straight line analytics report came out where he tested 5 infused, 5 non-infused joints, and they all came up moldy. So Jim McRae is an analyst and writes about everything, including lab tests and everything. So it was straight line analytics and Jim not taking my joint for me to kind of reflect on that as a whole, seeing billboards that said mold to gold and the moldy joints. And so when you don't know what's inside of it, you don't really want to take it, I guess. Historically, those pre-rolls were just trim that bud tenders were rolling when they had the time. There were no strain specific options. It just was a joint. You didn't know if it was an indica or otherwise. So there's been a lot of improvements from packaging to strain specific for a more discerning customer, as much as $420 for the average customer and $10,000 for a Canagar for somebody who has more disposable income than they know what to do with.
Well, what's funny about all of that, right? It comes down to, can you trust the pre-roll, right? Can you trust the brand? And then that comes back to that whole thing of branding. And then, it reminds me of ethically sourced coffee. How do you really know? And how do you really trust? So for instance, I've got some pals, where I'll burn their pre-rolls because I know. And at the same time, like somebody just walk up and hand you one of the cheap $3 pre-rolls that they grab from the counter in Washington State. You can bet that's floor weed. You can bet it's floor weed, brother.
Well, I have to be careful too with you. You roll fatties of indica, and you know me, when I smoke an indica during daylight, I stop talking. It's not that I zone out. I just can't speak. And so I just stay away from your joints as well.
Yeah, I consider that a badge of courage, my brother. Yeah, personally, I prefer grabbing a really good bag and rolling my own. Okay, I will still fall prey. I'm weak. If I'm in the field and somebody says, "Hey, hit this," what can I say? I'm working. No doubt, when you're burning random pre-rolled joints, and Jim McRae said it all. You've got such a high potential to have a funky burn.
So there's a lot of cannabis users who refuse to sacrifice quality for the slick convenience of the pre-roll. Many cannabis users would claim that cannabis companies knew that people probably wouldn't be unrolling the joint to inspect what's inside, so they made prettier packages and raised the prices. But in the years since the cannabis industry has expanded, brands have upped the quality of pre-rolls using higher quality weed, papers, and filters. So the combined cannabis user from California, Colorado, Arizona, Oregon, and Washington spent $59 million in pre-rolls in May 2019 alone.
See, part of the reason I'm going into the field and going into California is I'm going to go see, are they on a parallel track like Washington was? Is it like when Oregon first popped, or Colorado? Or is it on a different track? And one of the things I think we're going to see is that same naivete with regards to, pre-roll. And then eventually the market gets savvy and says, most of these suck.
Well, you've got an option when you visit Lowell's, the cafe down there. You can have some pre-rolls. Apparently, I don't know if they're owned by the same company, but Lowell Herb Company has some pre-roll packages that are currently available in the California marketplace. So when you look for convenience, quality, pricing, so 2019, each joint doesn't have to be unrolled to know what the product is up to par. The cannabis quality, accessibility, and how the pack feels, how the pack smokes, the carb, the filter, the burn. There's so many factors that go into a quality pre-roll. Most cannabis brands will say that the pre-rolls are fire, or that it's the world's best, saying, that's what distinguishes them. I think there was a graph from MJ Business Daily that said 2/3 of all cannabis growers think that what distinguishes their flower from others is that it's better. That's it. So essentially you want to have, the convenience, the quality, but the pricing needs to be right too. And that all comes down to trust. Branding, I think, still is about what's the highest THC at the lowest price, and then you figure out what brand you want. But there is an opportunity for branding to differentiate, to stand out with quality, convenience, accessibility, and having an honest, transparent production facility where there's quality.
Well, I put this one in there. As soon as the market gets aware, right? As soon as awareness comes, then all of a sudden that convenience isn't convenient anymore. It's like, yeah, it was convenient. Oh, you're smoking mold. Oh, okay. Right? And so it's interesting to me because I see it as a market where there is great opportunity for somebody to be very staunch in their branding, their marketing, and their pricing, and just to lay down the law. Yeah, you pay more for this. Why? Because it's real, right? Because it's real. We'll see in California, but in Washington and Oregon, you can find a $1 or $2 joint. You can find a $3 joint without falling over, okay? It seems really convenient. Unless, again, it's literally, and I've seen this. This isn't me, it's weed they're sweeping up with a broom, okay, from the excess of the trim table. It's been there for 3 days on the floor, and they're going to go churn it, throw it in with a bunch of other stuff. That's not to say all growers, dude, that, or all producers, processors, but a few, and, a few is plenty. Who wants to burn some mold?
Ultimately, when convenience is no longer the thing that is the main point, when there's a lot of products that are convenient, it's going to be substance over style. And so not to judge a pack by its cover, if the pre-roll costs more, you have to ask, why is it costing extra? Is it craft cannabis, or is it just margins? Is it really VIP? Or with those Canagars, I'm not going to buy those anymore because they're just too expensive. I've had enough to know that it's not worth the price. So spending $35 to $40 for 6 joints isn't really going to be something that I'm going to do. Last year, I rolled 173 blunts. This year, I'm on pace to do more than that. Blunts are my guilty pleasure. I do like joints. I don't like the pre-roll cone shape. There's a better draw, a better experience from a cylindrical joint. And I think you're going to start to see that as more companies are buying automated machines. I'm getting a lot more inquiries for pre-roll robots, as well as blunt machines in California, cylindrical joint rolling machines in Canada. People that can afford $200,000 and $300,000 machines are going to set the pace, because when you can manufacture a product for 50 cents and make money, revenue, profit, other people are going to have to either jump on board with that same machinery or private label from you. They're going to white label, they're going to pay you, or they're going to find another SKU.
They'll sell all day, right? That's the thing is, again, even, crappy joints sell all day. And if you build a machine, and I mean like a business machine, right? So the automated pre-roll, the market, the quality weed, the quality ethic, you put all of that together and pump joints out all day long, you're going to make a lot of bread.
I spoke to some companies that make automated machines, the multi-head check waste systems and other packaging machines. Some of them believe that big tobacco is going to come in and come up with a solution. I disagree. I think they're going to end up buying one of these pre-roll robots and joint blunt rolling machines and incorporating that, because the injection method doesn't work. So this Lieberman overstyling technique is what other rolling machines are doing, in addition to the filling, not the shake weight, but an actual solution that has weights. So a multi-head check weight system where everyone is, every pre-roll is accurate up to 100th of a gram. And that's going to be popping out. So I just got notification that in January, one of the main manufacturers in the United States is going to launch a pre-roll robot, fully automated, making 3,600 an hour. So that's almost twice the next fully automated machine called the Hephaestus pre-roll robot, based out of Israel. They already have competition. People that used to work for them have left and are starting another company that's going to be even more competitive.
Well, every industry all the time, right? Yeah. Where'd Larry go? Oh, he left to start a competitor.
Well, I mean, that's the company that thought that just filling it based by volume was enough. And this individual said, no, we have to have accurate weighing for Health Canada, for the US, whatever. And so when the manufacturer said, no, this is good enough, I would bounce too. And so if you're not listening to what the market wants and you're just thinking you're going to do it when you don't really know what the cannabis industry needs or wants, then you're already obsolete.
You need to listen to the Talking Hedge.
That's exactly right. This market moves fast, and with the capital constraints that's currently happening in the marketplace, essentially, if you don't have that automation, if you can't scale, expand, and automate your process, you're done. Like I said, you're going to be paying somebody else to make your product because you can't afford to. So we've got a fully automated list on our videos. Check that out. Just come back to the Talking Hedge for all of your solutions. Now we're going to roll this one up. I'm Josh Kincaid. This is the Talking Hedge. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, or don't. And I'm out.